Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at the expansion to Imaginarium. This is Imaginarium Chimera. Imaginarium is a very strange game of action selection, of working in this sort of steampunky factory, building machines, gathering resources, trying to get the most victory points. Well, Chimera here continues the weirdness by making a big part of the game, or at least a part of the game, be about having dreams and taking a little nap on the job and exploring these strange dreams that you are having, okay? So that's what this is largely about. They also add a new player here. You can play in teams of 2 now, so that it accommodates 6 players. But generally, the game is, for the most part, unchanged, okay? I'm going to assume you know how to play Imaginarium. If you don't, check out my review for that. But if you do, and you just want to know what's in here, what's it all about, you're in the right spot. Let's take a look at it. Here's what you get in the expansion. You are going to get a sideboard right here that you'll attach to the main board. It shows you this dream track, and it has a space for a 6th player right there. You're going to get a new player color, green, right here with its appropriate token, the bust. You get a board for that player, numbered 6 up here. Same deal as the other ones. You are going to get a screen for that player there. You are going to get you get some new projects up here that you can shuffle into the other ones. You get a stack of these dream tokens, and I'll talk about them in just one second. They are, of course, the focus of the expansion. And then you have a few new cards that get shuffled into the deck. It's just more machines you can build. You have a specific machine, this one here, that every player begins with. It begins broken in their workshop. So you have that one already. And then you have a few new characters that you can shuffle into the deck and may hire as they come up. And they give you, of course, new special abilities. So, what is going on in this expansion? Well, over here on the track, like I said, you are going to be advancing your piece. And you do so by playing these dream tokens, all of these right here. They are seeded onto these cards as they come up. So every time you reveal a new card, you pull one from the stack and seed it on that card. And as players acquire them, they also get the dream fragment sitting on it. Now on your turn, as you select your 2 actions, so we'll take a look here at the player board. As you select whichever 2 actions you want, you may skip one of those 2 actions and instead have yourself a little dream. When you do that, you can play as many of these tokens as you have behind your screen as you want, as long as they are all different colors. And we've got a few different colors, so the 3 represented there. You've also got these golden ones, and then there are also these nightmare tokens, and I'll talk about them in just one second. These you don't add to your own dream, you give to other people. They're bad, okay? So let's say I play these 3, and I'm going to move 3 steps on this track. There are forks in the road. You can choose which way you go, and this board would normally be completely seeded with victory points where it says so, resources were indicated. As you move and reach different locations, you acquire everything sitting there, and any player that goes past that spot later on simply gets 1 charcoalium. You don't need to seed that one. Everybody gets that after the spaces are empty, okay? So if I did this, I would move 1, 2, and let's say I want to go this way, so I'll go 3 right there. Later on in the game, let's say I've acquired a few more of these dream tokens by buying them. So let's say, I acquired this card and got that token, acquired that card and got that token. Well, if I play some more of these later on, again, they have to be different, all the new ones I play. So I might play this one followed by this one. That's 2 new tokens. I'll move twice. But if the first one you play matches whatever was at the end of the line previously, you also move for those. So in this case, 1, 2, and 3 for this one being a match. So I would go 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3 right there. And I get a victory point, put that behind my screen. Now there's a new way in which the game ends using this expansion, and that is right here. If someone makes it all the way down here, even if no player has made it to 20 victory points, this is also going to trigger the end of the game. And I should mention that for you to play with 6 players, involves having to play with the team variant. just to keep the downtime from being tremendous, okay? 2 players would each have a screen, a selection board for actions, but they would share resources and they are basically working together, okay? Just a little twist to keep it from being unmanageable. So that's basically what's going on. Now, the nightmares, as I said, when you take that dreaming action, you can play on your own line, move yourself ahead on this board, and then if you have any nightmares, you can give them to someone else. So let's say this is an opponent's lineup. If I have one of these, when I take that action, I can put it on their line, and that means the next time they dream, they can only play 1 token after a nightmare, directly after a nightmare. And in this case, move just 1, okay? A couple of final things. 2 of the base game actions are slightly modified, being these 2 right here. When you take this action and rearrange your machines, if you have a nightmare at the end of your line, you may get rid of that. And then this one here, as you are destroying a machine for the resources or the victory points that it gives you, you will draw 1 new dream token just from the face down stacks. If it's a broken machine, you just pluck 1 from the stack and put it behind your screen. If it's a fixed machine, you're going to take several of these based on the machine's level and keep 1. That's that. So these are all staying the same, except that any one of them can be replaced by having this dream action and playing out the tokens, advancing, getting some resources along the way. So that's basically what is going on. The new characters here are very nice, and they quite a few of them are all about when you break a machine, giving you something. So when you break a machine, you get a victory point. When you break a machine, you get 3 charcoalium. This one here, which is fascinating, allows you to destroy one of the unbreakable machines, such as this one right here. So this one, as soon as you build it, it lets you know right there that you cannot destroy this and say take the victory points or the resources. Well, if you have this character, you can. Absolutely one of my favorites there. So there you go. That's basically it. Everything, for the most part, will play out largely the same with this addition onto the game. So let's go ahead and go back up top and let me tell you how this feels attached to what we already know from the base game. Before I dive into my final thoughts here for Chimera, I will tell you I like Imaginarium. I don't love it. I like it. I probably would rate it a 7, I think. And it is a game that is quite esoteric. It is one that's got some sharp edges. If you play a lot of games, you'll probably play this one and go, why would this part of the game be like this? Shouldn't it be a little bit smoother? Shouldn't they have streamlined this bit or that bit? It does have those kinds of moments. And you either learn to love and enjoy its quirkiness and that strangeness, or you don't like the game that much, I think. So the package overall, the look, the actions, some of the way things develop are just a little off of center. The expansion generally continues that. So from the top, theme, okay? The theme here continues this weirdness. And in any other game, I would probably say, why is there like a dream side quest now? But in this one, you know what? It fits. It works. It's fine. You as the character in the game, take a little nap at your workstation and go on a flight of fancy and collect some tokens and then, play those out. Move down the track, collect some things along the way. I like that. I like that that's what's going on as the new third arm that this adds on to the game. And this sort of strange monster with a third arm, thematically, works just fine. So I got no issue there. Let's talk the aesthetics of the game. Everything is high quality. I like the new character. It's lovely, like the ones in the original game. The tokens are easy to tell apart. They have not just a color ring on the outside, but a symbol as well. The new cards have an icon that lets you know they are from the expansion. Please do this, everybody, when you put out an expansion. So everything looks good, fits in just fine, okay? The replay value, I don't think it's that great, and mainly because, and this is ultimately my big takeaway here, okay? I don't think this adds a lot to the game. And by that, I mean it doesn't get utilized that much. This is not going to become a big part of what's going on. It does feel like a side quest. And so the replay value, this will certainly give you new things to think about, but I don't think it's going to necessarily enhance the replayability that much. It's still largely about the things it was still about, with perhaps something else to think about, but you can generally, you can largely kind of not worry about this and be fine. It's not one of those expansions that shows up and goes, I'm here, you're playing with this expansion. This doesn't feel like that. Now, maybe you can enhance this a little bit, the replay value, your own score for this. If you love playing with 6 players, you often find yourself in the very specific situation of wanting to play this game and having 6 players at your table and having to go, darn it, this doesn't play 6. Well, this will do that for you, okay? And it's fine. I think it's not about, we made it into a team game now. I don't think that's it. I think it's more, we want to make it for 6 people, but whoa, that's way too much downtime. Can we team them up in groups? Yeah, that should work. Bam. Okay? I think that's where that stems from, in my opinion. And it's fine. It is just as good as anything else in the game. But that's not why I think I would show up to the table. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. The game arc. I kind of feel the same way as I do about the replay value. The dream stuff, as far as the game arc goes, is fairly slow. Considering you get one of them every time you buy a card, and then you have to skip one of your 2 actions to play some of them out. It doesn't happen that quickly. You might snag a new one whenever you break down a machine. You get a new one, all right? But for the most part, it's a pretty slow progression of what's going on this sideboard. So it just does not have a particularly large impact. You know, you skip 2 turns, or 2 actions, I should say, over, you've taken 6 turns, and then you skip an action, and then you play some tokens, and then maybe you snag a victory point, like I showed you in the overview. Cool, but also, that seems like a pretty slow return on my investment. You know what I mean? So there is that. Just doesn't make a huge difference, is basically what I wrote down. And I think that's true. It doesn't really make a particularly big difference. Ease of play, I think, is good. The game, this bit added on to it, is fine. It's smooth. In fact, it's smoother in some ways than the original game is. This just works. You add one of these to every card that comes up. When you buy the card, you also get the token, skip an action, play some of these tokens. That's clean. I like that quite a bit. I do wish they would have given me individual player reminders, or maybe even a little sticker to put on these to remind me, hey, when you do this stuff, don't forget to also grab a token. Don't forget to get rid of a nightmare if you have one, on in your dream lineup. But they didn't. It's just on the back of the rule book. So that would have been a nice touch. It's only here. It's right there, the reminder, right there on the back of the rule book. But, it's one of those things that gets easily forgotten. It's happened to me. Lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. It's okay. It's something new to add. It gives you a small extra bit of interaction between the players. It does incentivize you to take some cards over others because perhaps you don't care that much about the card, the machine, but you want the blue token. So there's something there. It does add a little more as to what you should be thinking about. But ultimately, my takeaway from this expansion is very, very simple. If you already own this expansion, I see absolutely no reason why you shouldn't play with it every single time. Okay? It's smooth. It's easy to add in. It's not going to increase the play or the teaching time by very much. So why not, yes, put it in there. Flip coin, okay? The reverse of that is, If you don't already own this expansion, I'm not sure I would recommend you go out of your way to pick it up. It does not add very much. It is a fairly slow addition to what's going on, and it is not, if you were sort of lukewarm on the game, I don't think this is going to revitalize the game for you. Now, if you're a huge fan of the game, yeah, go get this. You should. It's more of what you love. It doesn't get in the way. It gives you a little more variability, a little, a few extra characters to hire, right? That's neat. A little more to think about. I'm just not sure that this is splashy enough, interesting enough, makes itself known enough to recommend that you go out there and add this to your game because this is what you need. If you have it, play with it. It's so easy to throw in there, but I would not chase this one down, okay? So that's kind of how I feel about it. That's how the folks I played with felt about it. They were like, yeah, cool, but it didn't do much. Nothing, not too much happened. That's sort of how that feels, all right? So this is going to get from me a 6 out of 10. If you love the game, like I said, get it. I think you're going to have a good time with it. It's got some more quirky artwork, some bizarreness going on. Throw it in there. If you don't, and you think the game is okay, or if you're just buying the base game, just buy the base game. Wait on this expansion to see if you like the game, all right? That's it for me, everybody. That is Imaginarium Chimera. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.